In this guide, we're going to go over the first 3 roles in Red Dead Online. And the main reason why I took so long to make this guide is because A, it took me some time to get the hang of the roles, as well as the fact that most recently Red Dead Online has arrived on PC, so there's a lot of new players to Red Dead Online on PC, and I thought that this might be the best time to pet my dog and do a role guide for you all. By the way, if you happen to have any questions about any of the 3 roles, hopefully myself or others will be able to answer any question you happen to have below in the comment section. So let's go ahead and get things off with going into the progress menu. So this is where you can find the progress for your roles, as well as your rewards. We'll get to your rewards in a moment, but focusing predominantly on the current roles. There'll be more roles added in the future to Red Dead Online, and as more roles are added, I will also be doing guides for those roles as well. So the first 3 roles we have are Collector, Bounty Hunter, as well as Trader. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into each one of these roles, and I'm going to tell you about what I think the most important items and abilities are for each role, the specifics of how each role works, and then it'll be up to you to decide which of these roles do you want to focus on, whether it's just one role or 2 of the roles, or maybe even you want to tackle all 3 of the roles, and that is an option. As you can tell on my PS4 character, Wolfus, I have got Distinguished level 20 at all 3 levels in ranks, roles, yes. First, let's start off with Collector. Now, this is my personal favorite because it's probably the easiest one, especially if you like looting, if you like riding around, exploring, and like I said, looting. This is definitely the one for you. Now, in order to be a collector, or any of these roles, it's going to cost you an initial 15 gold bar setup. Now, I know for a lot of you starting the game, 15 gold bars is a lot of gold, but you can earn gold. Now, I'll show you how to earn gold right now. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. So, daily challenges is one way to earn gold. And to keep your streak going, all you got to do is knock out at least 1 daily challenge a day, or you can try and knock out as many as possible. Each one will net you between 20 nuggets to 50 nuggets each, depending on your streak. And on top of the general daily challenges, there's also role daily challenges for each of your roles. So if you happen to be only Bounty Hunter, then you're only going to have Bounty Hunter roles, like these 3 roles, which gives you additional ways of earning gold as well as regular XP. And for the role daily challenges, you also get role XP, which helps rank up whichever role you happen to be, from bounty hunting to collector to trader. So you definitely want to consider knocking out as many dailies as possible. So knock out the daily challenges. And here's the streaks right here. You start with a 1-day streak. That's 20 nuggets. And you can see the progression. Like the first 7 days, it's challenge streak 1, then challenge streak 2, 3, then 4. And once you reach challenge streak 4, then you start receiving 50 nuggets, which is basically half a bar of gold per each daily you complete. And once you do 28 days in a row, you will get a treasure map. I am actually thinking about doing a daily challenge guide. If any of you want me to go in more detail for the daily challenges, feel free and let me know. Other ways to earn gold in the game, as well as XP and money, is by going to Quick Join, and you'll see several opportunities. The Takeover series, as well as Shootout series, Featured series, Elimination series, Race series. All of these are PvP. So if you are into racing, just bear in mind other players will try to shoot and kill you. And this is more like I guess you could say, Red Dead Online's version of Battle Royale. And all of these are PvP modes. They'll earn you money, they'll earn you gold, and they'll also earn you XP. So especially the gold part, because you want to get as much gold as possible in order to eventually get the 15 bars of gold to start off any role you want to happen to do. And the story missions, the Land of Opportunity missions, are great to do, to grind through. And most of you have probably seen those pop up with Horley and Jessica Leclerc and some of the other characters featured in Land of Opportunities. Those will also reward you money, XP, as well as gold. And the cool thing about the story missions is that is strictly PvE, whereas all this is PvP, that is PvE. So it really depends on what your preference happens to be, whether it's all this stuff or just PvE or PvP. All that can earn you gold along with money and regular XP. And the other things that come up every now and then is the free roam events. And whenever a free roam event pops up, then that's another opportunity for you to earn money, gold, as well as, yes, you guessed it, XP as well. Now, there are some that are specifically tied to the roles themselves. Like, for example, Collector has 2 free roam events that you might be interested in. Condor Egg, as well as Salvage. When those 2 free roam events pop up, if you happen to be focusing on Collector, you definitely want to try those out, especially Salvage. And with Trader, it's, let's see, Trade Route, I believe. So you want to do that Trade Route as a Collector. And for Bounty Hunter, it's Day of Reckoning. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Let's go back to Progress. Yes, you guessed it. We're going back to Progress to talk about Collector, Bounty Hunter, and Trader. First and foremost, my personal favorite, as I mentioned, Collector, because it's so easy. All you got to do is roam around and collect things. From wildflowers to different suits of tarot cards. There's a few to pick from, like cups, swords, wands, as well as pinnacle tarot cards. Then you have lost jewelry, like bracelets, earrings, necklaces, rings, alcohol bottles laying about the place, antique alcohol bottles that you can collect, bird eggs, along with arrowheads. Now, when it comes to bird eggs, a little FYI for you. Whenever you happen to see a nest in a tree with the bird egg in it, I advise you to use your varmint rifle to shoot the nest. Don't use any other weapon except for the varmint rifle. So make sure you have a varmint rifle. Hopefully most of you hunters already have the varmint rifle. Arrowheads is something else you can collect along with family heirlooms like pins, brushes, combs, and coins. So these are all the different items that you can collect. Some of them are easier to acquire than others, which is what we're about to go into right now in the collectors section. Now, as you can tell, there's a progression meter of 0 through 20. 20 is maximum rank, and in case you're wondering, tokens you will earn as you rank up as a collector, a trader, and or a bounty hunter. And you spend the tokens on various items below here. So some of these items will cost you money or gold, money or tokens. Predominantly money and tokens. But, for example, if you're starting off with a novice kit and you want to go ahead and get a shovel, you're going to have to spend a token and you're going to have to spend $350 in order to get the Pinnakin filled shovel. Now, the filled shovel is very important for digging up collectibles. So you'll see mounds throughout Red Dead Online, and you'll feel your controller vibrate. You'll hear this noise, and if you get close enough, when you have a certain ability, you will actually see it, a golden plume, appear above the mound. And eventually, you'll get the hang of where these mounds are. And there's actually a 3-day rotation. I will put that map linked below in the description section for all you interested in collecting. It shows you the location of everything, all these collectibles, and it rotates every 3 days. I believe it also shows you where Madame Nazar happens to be, because she likes to move around a lot. So one of the important abilities you want to consider is the divination, and this is going to help you sense when you're near collectibles. Like I mentioned a moment ago, with the vibrating of your controller, when you start hearing some, like whistling, some chiming sounds, that's when you're near something of interest when it comes to collecting. But let us stick first and foremost with the items. So we're going to start here. So this is the important item to consider getting in the novice kit when you first start out as a collector. All this other stuff, it's not really important. It's mainly aesthetics. And we'll move on to the promising kit. Now the promising kit opens up once you reach rank 5 collector. And the only thing I would really advise you to consider getting is the metal detector, which will cost you tokens as well as $700. Now, this is very expensive, just like the shovel, but if you stick with being a collector, you will more than make your money back on both the shovel as well as with the metal detector. Now, the reinforced binoculars, which are $450, also going to cost you a token to unlock, is not necessary in order to find these items, especially if you have that map available to look at and you get used to the locations of where some of these items happen to spawn, once again on a 3-day cycle. So the reinforced binoculars are not really necessary, so you don't have to get it if you don't want to, unless you want some really nice looking reinforced binoculars. Okay, so the next item you may want to consider getting, not exactly important, but you'll get this as you reach the established levels of being a collector, rank 10 to rank 15, is the horse lantern. Now this is great for anybody out there that has trouble seeing at night when you're riding around in Red Dead Online and you want a light. Then this is something that you will end up eventually being able to purchase with tokens and money, and you can acquire it in the stable and your saddle bag. So in your saddle, you go to saddle, and then you go down to the horse lantern once you unlock and acquire the horse lantern to equip on your horse. This is something I would highly recommend you getting for anybody that wants to have a little light while riding around at night in Red Dead Online. And so if you're looking for one of these horses to get as the collector, so there's, each role has a specific breed of horses. This one is the Criollo, or as I like to call it, the Foxtrotter Mark II, because stat-wise, it's about the same overall as the regular Foxtrotter, which once again is a great horse. This is the horses I would recommend you purchase if you are looking to get this particular breed as the collector horse. Wait till you get the Distinguished kit and reach rank 20 so that you unlock one of these two versions, which is either the Bay Frame Overo or the Marble Sabino coats, because these are the two best of this particular breed. And as you rank up, you will passively acquire abilities as well as tokens. And as you can tell, I have 86 tokens because I choose not to unlock or buy everything. And it's important to be selective because as they add more roles down the road in Red Dead Online, it's going to be the same I guess you could say formula, where they're going to have items that you can unlock with tokens, and you might as well just hold on to the tokens. You might as well try and save up as much money and gold as possible as well. So that's always been my philosophy. Now the abilities, as we mentioned a moment ago, divination, will help you learn to sense when you're near to collectibles. This will make it easier for you when you are near collectibles in order to realize, hey, I might be near something interesting. I want to look around and try to find it, whether it's a wildflower, a tarot card, or something else entirely. Now, once you reach higher ranks, such as rank 6, you're going to unlock potential. Now, potential is awesome because this is the one where whenever you come across a mound, you'll feel the vibration with your controller, you'll hear the noise, and then when you go into Eagle Eye, you will also see a golden plume above the mound, making it easier to locate mounds, and then you use your shovel to dig up the mound. The next ability is intuition. Learn to narrow your search area. Now this is going to make it a lot easier to locate collectibles because your search area will obviously be narrowed. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Now this is another ability, learn to collect items from horseback. This is pretty cool, handy for all you that like to collect herbs like mints, oregano, creeping thyme, yarrow, like berries and whatnot. Instead of getting off your horse, you can just use this ability, Equine Assistance, which you get at rank 11, in order to do it that way, if you feel so inclined. It's not necessarily vital to being a collector. It's just one extra thing that is another benefit to being a collector. Plus, you also get various saddle upgrades. Well, satchel upgrades, not saddle upgrades, such as the ability to carry more provisions at rank 5. And then let's see, there's another one, and carry more items in your valuables pouch. So this is definitely a really good one you unlock at rank 15 as the collector. And once you have all your items as a collector, once you have everything that you want to sell, now you don't have to have everything, okay? So as you can tell, I still haven't found this particular flower yet. But once you get, for example, all 9 wildflowers, you will have a collection. Now, you can hold up to 10 of each. Like, you can have up to 10 bluebonnets, 10 cardinal flowers, 10 wisteria. You get the idea. And as long as you have one of each of the 9 flowers, you can sell everything else to Madame Nazar. But once you get 9 out of 9, all 9 different wildflowers, or whether it's a suit of 14 cards, like I have 11 out of 14 Cups tarot cards, 11 out of 14 Swords tarot cards, 11 out of 14 Wands, as well as 12 out of 14 Pentacles. It's the same thing. Anything extra that you happen to have, you can sell. So if you have, say for example, like 2 or 3 Ace of Pentacles, as long as you have at least one, you can always go into the collector's bag to make sure you have these items. So, prime example, I still need a 9 of Pentacles and the 4 of Pentacles. And then once I have those 2, then I'll have a collection. And once I turn in the collection, I will get $287. Plus, you get a lot of XP as well as roll XP towards the collector by turning in collections to Madame Nazar. And the same thing can be applied to, the bracelets, earrings, necklaces, rings, antique bottles. Right now I have 7 out of 9 of those, and it's the same thing, because you can have up to 10 of each, and you can hold on to a few if you want, or you can sell them and just have one of each of these bottles. It's entirely up to you. So like I said, I often always make sure to have one of each item, one of each of the coins. I need one more coin. Specifically, I require the 1700 New York token, but all these other coins, I have one each or more, and if I have any more, say if I have like 4 or 5 1792 nickels, I will sell them and I'll hold on to one. That way I'm always making money in the game. So I think you guys get a pretty good idea of how the collector works. And in order to find Madame Nazar, she moves around. She could be anywhere on the map. Now, one of the decisions that Rockstar decided to do is to make it to where not only does Madame Nazar move around every day. She could be anywhere. She could be here in Henniganstead. She could be down here in New Austin. She could be in the Great Plains. She could be at Window Rock. She could be almost anywhere. They decided, for whatever rhyme or reason, not to have her icon appear on the map. And so my advice would be to go on to Twitter. There's a few Twitters. I'll try to put a Twitter for you to follow or go look at every day in order to find out where Madame Nazar is. Some people on Twitter have dedicated themselves to keep an eye on and track Madame Nazar's daily movements in order to help you find her. Because, like I said, it's one of those decisions Rockstar made. You think it would be simple for them just to have it to where she would actually appear, her icon on the map, but alas, that's Rockstar for you. I guess they're interested in having that conversation about everyday people asking, well, where's Madame Nazar today? Well, as of right now, in the recording of this video, I honestly have no idea. So that's pretty much the collector. It's relatively easy to do, and once you get the hang of it, you can start really making some money, and you get some really good abilities. And once again, I would advise you, once you get money, and I would get the shovel, eventually get the metal detector. You definitely want to get those 2 particular items. And those 2 items will help you collect even more items for you to sell to Madame Nazar. And you will make your money back as the collector. Now, before we move on, there is another way to get the collector bag for Madame Nazar. And it involves Grand Theft Auto Online. For all of you that also play Grand Theft Auto Online, as long as you have your Rockstar Social Club account linked to both Grand Theft Auto Online and Red Dead Online, all you gotta do is go into free roam in Grand Theft Auto Online, collect 50-something poker cards. Once you collect all 50-something of them, then you're able to go into Red Dead Online, and you will be able to get the free collector's bag without spending 15 bars of gold. But for everybody else, yes, unfortunately, you'll have to save up your gold to 15 bars in order to get the collector bag from Madame Nazar. Now we're going to move on to the trader, which also costs 15 bars of gold. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Now, if you really like hunting and going to the butcher and selling your pelts, your carcasses, animal parts like horns, antlers, teeth, etc., that's a good way to make money when you're starting out. And I would advise you continue to do that if you love hunting. But Trader allows you another route in, I guess you could say, those of you that are aspiring hunters. So with the trader, you will get crypts here to start a business which you are quote-unquote partners in, and you'll have to pay, once again, 15 bars of gold for crypts to get his business off the ground. So we go up to the table. Now, as you can tell at Crypt's Trading Company Butcher Table, this is where you will make the donations. Now, there's two parts to this. First off is the materials, which is items that you happen to have. Like, for example, he will accept feathers. He will accept antlers along with tusks, teeth, fangs. He will accept all these particular items. He won't accept meat or carcasses that have been skinned already. So whole carcasses, whole deer, whole pronghorn, whole wolves, like even smaller animals like whole squirrels, chipmunks, frogs. He will accept those, and that will go towards your meter. So as you can tell, my meter is currently in the red because I don't really bother with being a trader anymore. I just went back to being a hunter, just, you know, taking everything I hunt and hold on to and take it straight to a butcher. But if you want to go this route, then that's perfectly fine. Now, the second route, the second meter you want to keep an eye on is the production bar. So you always want to keep these meters going, and it's currently halted. Now, you're going to need materials, constantly hunting, giving those materials to Crips. I know you're a busy man, Crips, but we're trying to do this guide for future aspiring traders, so be patient. All right, so when it comes to production, he also needs supplies. And you have two ways of getting those supplies. Either A, you can start a resupply mission, which will also net you roll XP to go towards being a trader, or you can simply spend $20 to have him order the supplies for you. Now, for those of you trying to rank up your trader to rank 20, I advise you to do resupply missions because you get pretty decent roll XP towards being a trader by doing the resupply missions for Crips. And once he has that bar back up, then he'll get back to work. And once he has materials, then yes, he'll get back to work and he will make the goods. Now, he can make up to 100 goods, and right now we currently have 12 out of 100 goods. And there's two different versions you could do for delivery. Either a local delivery, which is safer. That allows you to make local deliveries while you remain in defensive mode. However, if you've got a posse with you and you're feeling a little bit more ambitious and you want to make more money out of your goods, you can always do a distance delivery. Now, the distance delivery will make you a little bit more money. In this case, with only 12 goods, I will make $37 as opposed to $30. Now, in this case, I would much rather just do a local delivery because it's safer and I'm getting paid $7 less. But once you get it up to 100 goods capacity, then you start to see a major difference in the amount you're going to be paid, you and your posse, for doing a distance delivery as opposed to a local delivery. And once again, as you can tell by the two revolvers icon, by start distant delivery, you will be taken out of defensive mode, and it takes longer, and it can be quite dangerous. And if you lose your stuff, you lose your goods along the way, well, that's it. It's gone. Which is a big reason why I prefer just hunting and just taking my stuff to the butcher. But like I said, some of you may want to try out being a trader. So let us go into the progress once again, and we're going to go to the trader. And I'm going to tell you what I think is important and what is not as important. Now, as you can tell, a lot of this stuff I haven't bothered purchasing because I'm saving my money, my gold, and my tokens for future updates, content, and rolls. So a lot of this in the Distinguished kit. Let's start in the Novice kit. Okay, so the reason why I bought the stew pot, which I'll show you real quick. Let's go ahead and do that. The stew pot I think is important because you can boost your cores up, and you can also like make recipes with the stew pot. So right now I have enough big game meat to make me the superior quality, but every day there's a different additional recipe that pops up. Today it's a Coulter hot pot. You would need some 3 gristly mutton, 3 offals, and 5 wintergreen berries. And you can tell that each one has health core benefits. And so most of the time I stick with the superior quality stew. It's already up there, and it's always up there every day, and I usually have big game meat. By the way, I did do a meats guy video in case you're curious about what animals have what when it comes to the meat. So let's take some superior quality stew. And by the way, whenever you make a recipe of stew, that also gets you roll XP towards being a trader. And as a trader, you definitely want to have every opportunity to get as much roll XP as possible. And one of the ways is with the stew pot. Plus, it boosts your cores when you use a superior quality stew. And your posse can also eat from this stew pot. Another thing is, occasionally, one of the trader daily challenge rolls happens to be eat a certain plates of stew, which is relatively easy to do. Oh, I made a rhyme. Okay, so just wanted to let you know why I think that the stew pot's kind of important, even though it may not seem to be. Not exactly a mandatory purchase, but it's nice to have at your camp. So when it comes to the novice kit, the only item that I purchased was the stew pot. Everything else I passed on. Whether or not you want to get those particular items is entirely up to you. It's your money, it's your tokens. So the next level is the promising kit, and this is when you get the medium delivery wagon. So the cool thing about this is you start off with the small delivery wagon, which can hold, I believe, up to 25 goods, I think. 25 goods is 1 barrel for transport. I think I'm right about that. I could be wrong. So you can have up to 25 goods in the small delivery wagon. Now, eventually, you may want to get a better wagon. You may want to be able to hold twice as much, which would be, in this case, 50 goods. So 50 goods out of 100, which would mean better payday, whether you're going local or long distance. So you would have to spend a token to unlock this delivery wagon at the stable, and then you would also have to spend $500 in order to get the medium delivery wagon. Now, whenever you start a delivery, you will automatically get the wagon. And we'll actually do a delivery in a moment just to show you how it works. So that is the only item here that's really necessary. Now, I did get the Trader Camp theme. Now, this is aesthetic only. It's not really important, but if you like one of the themes, whether it's a collector, trader, or bounty hunter, you can spend your money and tokens on that if you feel so inclined. You don't have to, but you can if you want. All right, so there's a few more wagons I want to go over with you. The next one is the hunting wagon. Now, you'll get the hunting wagon when you are established. I believe this is a rank 10 item. And this is great for if you're really into hunting and you just want to be able to have better hunts with, bigger game and carcasses. You want to be able to haul more stuff back to either crypts to donate towards the trader business, or if you just simply want to take the hunting wagon to your nearest local butcher to make more money that way. Now, it also is going to cost you tokens as well as $875 for the hunting wagon. So for those of you that have either got a bounty wagon and or a hunting wagon, you want to use one or the other, the first thing you have to do is you have to tell your horse to flee. So you would tell your horse to flee, which I'm not going to do. But once you tell your horse to flee, your horse will flee. And then you're going to go left on D-pad, down to stables, then go to vehicles. Make sure you're on a road, okay? Make sure you're on a road. Then go to own vehicles, and then you're either going to select the bounty wagon or the hunting wagon, depending on which one you happen to want. And to make them despawn, in order to call back your horse, you would dismiss them. So it would be the same process. You would once again go back into this option. Go back to own vehicles, whether you have the bounty wagon out or the hunting wagon out. If you want to dismiss it, you would select the dismiss button, and then it would despawn, and then you would be able to once again call back in your horse. Now, bear in mind, when you call out the hunting wagon, your horse will despawn. So it replaces your horse with the wagon. This wagon is very slow, and it doesn't do so well in areas that aren't like Healy. Like, it does pretty good in Hinniganstead and the Great Plains, as well as the Heartlands, but like bumpier areas, like the swamp, it can get damaged in. But for those of you that really want to push hunting to the next level, this is great because it also serves as an additional storing place to put carcasses and animals and whatnot. It just gives you more inventory for hunting besides your horse and your satchel. The next wagon you may want to consider if you really decide you want to dedicate yourself to being a big-time trader is the large delivery wagon. Now, unfortunately, you have to first and foremost get the medium delivery wagon before you can get the large delivery wagon. So you have to get the medium delivery wagon first. Then, eventually, once you get high enough in rank and you get the established kit, then once again, you'll be able to spend tokens and $750 in order to unlock the large delivery wagon. Now, the large delivery wagon can hold 4 barrels of transport. That means this wagon can carry 100 goods, which is $600 something, depending on whether you're going local or long distance. That number goes up or down. And this is where you can get, I guess you'd say, a pretty big bang for your buck. But it's not necessary to have the large delivery or medium delivery wagon. If you're happy with just making small deliveries with up to 25 goods here and there, then that's perfectly fine. It's your money. So, once again, we're at Distinguished. And the Clodrubers, or the trader horses I like to call them, they unlock with 3 tokens, $950 for each one. Now, if you're interested in the trader horse, by the way, the trader horse is just a standard horse. You cannot hitch it to your wagon. It's just a normal horse that spawns in with the wagons. So some people thought that this would actually be a wagon horse. It's not a wagon horse. Now, I would recommend another channel, Daniel Cast. She does great horse testing videos on Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Online horses. And she's done testing videos on all 3 of these breeds of horses for the collector, trader, and bounty hunter. And if you want to know more about the trader horse, the collector horse, and our bounty horse, and see if you are remotely interested in these horses, you may want to watch her videos on the horses in question. But overall, this horse is okay. But if you're going to get it, I would recommend waiting till you get the top tier horse. And these are the 2 options you get when it's top tier. Now, let's go back to the abilities. Obviously, once again, as you rank up, you automatically get tokens. And you're also going to get abilities and satchel upgrades as the trader. So ingredient satchel upgrade allows you to obviously store more ingredients. You get that at rank 5. At rank 6, you get awareness, which identifies rival traders at an increased range. Now, there are traders that will try to come after you when you're doing a local or distance delivery, so you always have to be mindful of that, which is why I always advise you to go in with a posse when it comes to making deliveries. Plus, having a posse can help get your materials up even faster and help with resupply missions. Next is the canine warning, and you can purchase a camp dog as a trader. There's a couple varieties to choose from right now when it comes to a doggo. The only thing you can really do with the dog in the camp is pet it. You can also name the dog. But when you get the canine warning ability, it helps keeps thieves at bay. And you will be raided by NPCs on occasion, but it appears that having canine warning, once you unlock this ability, which is passive, these automatically unlock when you reach these ranks. It seems to make the raids less and less, at least from my experience. Now we're moving up to rank 10, efficiency. And this is really good because, as it says, it increases the amount of raw materials for perfect carcasses when donating to a trading company. Notice how it says perfect carcasses, as in 3-star carcasses. So it definitely encourages you to bring and donate 3-star carcasses to crypts, especially if you have this ability unlocked. Next is the material satchel upgrade. You can now store more items in your materials patch. And then finally, the ability that will help you when it comes to raids, along with the canine warning. You're going to get this at rank 15, protection. Learn to reduce the chance of raids on your camp. So that's all the abilities, as well as the items that I would recommend you consider getting as the trader. So we're going to go ahead just for a test to show you how this works and do a delivery. Now, this is only a local delivery, just to get it over with, nice and quick and easy. And as I mentioned, the only amount I have right now are 12 goods, which is only going to get me $30. Now, with like I mentioned, with the small delivery wagon, you can have up to 25 goods, medium 50 goods, and the large wagon 100 goods. So let's do the delivery. And I'm going to do it solo. I feel confident that I should be able to make this solo local delivery without there being any problems, but it remains to be seen. So like I said, if you happen to have any questions below in the comment section regarding any of these guides, feel free and let me know. Whether it's the trader role, the collector role, as well as the bounty hunter role, which we'll be getting into in just a moment. So obviously this is the small wagon. This is what you start off with. Once you pay the 15 bars of gold to get the trader camp set up with crypts. And if you're happy with just making small deliveries, then that's perfectly fine. It once again depends on how committed you are to these roles specifically. Now, once we complete the deliveries, whether it's a local delivery or distance delivery, and depending on how many goods you're delivering, whether it's like in my case 12 goods or 25 goods, 50 goods or 100 goods, you're also going to get trader role XP, which is going to help you rank up even faster in Red Dead Online. So there are a lot of ways that you can rank up as the trader. By continuing to make deliveries to crypts, donating carcasses, you will make trader role XP. Not much, but it all adds up. So every carcass you turn in, every horn, every feather you turn in, you will get a little bit of role XP going towards the trader role. And like I mentioned, the trader route is the free roam event you always want to keep an eye out on for as the trader. Resupply missions not only help your camp, they also get you trader role XP. And sometimes, just sometimes when you're doing these deliveries, you're going to run into ambushes like we are right now. So we have to dispatch these NPCs, protect our buyers, because if they die, then the mission's failed and we lose everything. So we want to quickly dispatch these NPCs as quickly as possible. Now, you're not always going to run across ambushes. Not always, but sometimes you will. Even as you can tell, with a small local delivery like this, you have bandits that you have to contend with, unfortunately. But you're getting XP for it. You can also loot these bodies once you're done, as long as they don't despawn on you. And as long as you don't die in the process. This is all the more reason, even with like small deliveries, you always want to help with your friends. And if you have friends to posse up with, and you're both doing the trader role, then that's great, because even if they're just helping you in the posse, then they're also getting the trader role XP to help them rank up as well. And you can also take turns, like they do a delivery, and then once they're done doing a delivery, you can do a delivery with your friends, and you can just keep going back and forth, helping each other out. And as you can tell, eating the stew has definitely helped my cores. It has kept me alive much longer. And it's definitely important when you're in a firefight against NPCs or other players. Because unfortunately, there will be times when you may have to deal with other players. And it's all about strength in numbers, which is why you should always have a friend go with you on a delivery, whether it's a local delivery or a long-distance delivery, especially a long-distance delivery. And if it's a big delivery, you want to have as many people that you can muster to put into your posse. So there we go. We earned a little bit of money. Not much, $30 for me. It's better than nothing. But I just want to really quickly show you how the basics of a trader delivery works. Even a small one like that didn't take me that long to get from point A to point B, even though it only got me $30, it still ended up resulting in an ambush, which I was able to quickly deal with. And I'm also reaping the rewards, once again, by looting the bodies. And that ties into the collector role. By the way, looting NPCs will not only get you lootable items you can sell to the fence, but on occasion, you will be able to find collectible items such as antique bottles, tarot cards, and other things that you can also sell to Madame Nazar. So, that's pretty much it for the trader role. Now, some of you may be wanting to know, before we move on to Bounty Hunter, GB, why don't you do the trader role on a regular basis? It seems like a good way to make money, potentially. Well, it can be, but because of the game, the camp all too often will pitch. And whenever that happens, sometimes it can be easy to get your camp back, and sometimes not so much. So let's see if we can get our camp back. And all too often, we've had this issue in the game where you try to get the camp to pitch, and when it doesn't, then you're not able to actually do the trader role. You're not able to make donations to crypts, you're not able to go do resupply missions, and obviously you're not able to make any further deliveries. Which is why most of the time I kind of sort of avoid doing the trader role until Rockstar fixes this obvious issue. Now let's talk about the bounty hunter role. Before we do that, my controller is vibrating, as you may have noticed. And that means that well, actually you wouldn't have noticed my controller was vibrating. But as I've noticed, and as you may have been hearing, oh yes, there is the Queen of Pentacles tarot card. A little quick, I guess, demonstration how the collector works. So sometimes a tarot card will spawn down here in the jail. It's the only reason why you should want to go to jail, is to pick up a tarot card. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the bounty hunter. Now, before we get into the abilities and the items that I recommend, scattered throughout the map, you will find bounty boards. And with the bounty boards, you will have a degree of bounties. Now, these first two bounties on the left side are regular bounties. And the difficulty you can see by the $sign. For example, White House Willis is a fairly easy bounty to do. It's only $1 so that's easy. A medium level bounty hunter is Benjamin Temple Jr. Now, you'll see a variety of different faces and names, but basically the difficulty level for these regular bounties ranges from $1 to $2 to the most difficult, which is $3. And sometimes it's one bounty, sometimes you're bringing in two people, sometimes you're trying to bring in like a whole posse, like 4 or 6. In that case, as a bounty hunter, you definitely want to consider doing that particular job with a posse. And once again, by completing these bounties, you will be rewarded money, you'll be rewarded gold, and XP, especially roll XP to help rank you up as a bounty hunter. Now, one of the things that they've been doing weekly is the legendary bounties, and each week a new legendary bounty rotates in. Now, currently, Etta Doyle is the 8 out of 10 legendary bounties that we've gotten so far. So we have 2 more new legendary bounties at the time of this video that's yet to come out. Now, what happens after the 10th one rolls out? Will Rockstar just keep rotating back in all these 10 legendary bounties? Remains to be seen. Now, this works very similar to a Land of Opportunity mission, more like a PvE mission, where it sets you into a story, you have a cutscene, and then you go tackle a legendary bounty. Now, there's difficulty levels for each time you complete a legendary bounty. Currently, on the PS4, I have 1-star level difficulty for Etta Doyle, but if you keep doing this over and over again for 5 times total, it will eventually reach a 5-star difficulty level. And each time it gets more difficult, obviously, with the difficulty level of the stars. So obviously 1 star is the easiest, 5 stars the most difficult. Now, personally, I am capable of tackling the 5-star challenge for Etta Doyle Legendary Bounty solo. I did it a few days ago. By the way, if you're interested in checking out the legendary bounties that I've done so far, I do have a playlist for you to go look at, which will give you a better idea, I guess, how the legendary bounties work, which is very similar in a lot of ways how regular bounties work as well, except for these you end up taking back to your local sheriff or a jail wagon. So, throughout the map of Red Dead Online, you will see these bounty boards. And the bounty boards are indicated by this icon here, the bounty board icon. And there's one in Strawberry, there's one over here at Wallace Station, there's another one in Valentine, as well as over here in Rhodes, by the Sheriff's Office in Rhodes, and by the Police Station in Saint Denis. And then there's another one in Van Horn, as well as Amsburg. And the other ones can be found. Oh, there's also one at Emerald Ranch. And then there's a few more. One at Rick Station, as well as, let's see, Blackwater, all the way down to Armadillo, and finally Tumbleweed. So that's where you can always find the different bounty boards, and each bounty board has different bounties, except for the legendary bounty of the week. Now, once you complete a legendary bounty, there is an hour cooldown period between like levels 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, And once you reach level 5 bounty or 5-star difficulty, you can do 5-star bounty over and over and over again. But once again, bear in mind, there is a 1-hour cooldown period between the legendary bounties. And you get really good payouts in bounty XP roll for doing the legendary bounties. So that's another reason why you want to consider doing legendary bounties, especially if you're trying to rank up being a bounty, going from rank 0 all the way up to rank 20. So now, once we get far enough away from Strawberry, we're going to try to call up the camp again, if it actually pitches this time. And then we're going to go over the abilities as well as the items I recommend as the bounty hunter role. Alright, so unfortunately for me, the camp once again failed to spawn. As I said, that's why I don't really focus on being a trader. I just take everything I hunt, except for the meat and anything I hold on for daily challenges, straight to a butcher. That way at least I get paid for my trouble. While my character freezes to death and hopefully doesn't get attacked by a wolf or a bear or cougar or another player, let us go and look at the progress once again. Going back to roles. So, bounty hunter. You want to be a bounty hunter. Obviously, the bounty hunter's I guess the most exciting one to do because you're constantly going after a bounty here, a bounty there. Whether it's solo or you're going in with a full posse or you're tackling the legendary bounties for big money, big XP, especially gold and a lot of roll XP to help you rank up. Yeah, the bounty hunting can be fun, but it can also be very repetitive. Now, the first item you definitely want to consider getting as a bounty hunter, and this opens up in the novice kit when you first start off. After you pay your 15 gold bars to the bounty hunter in Rhodes, you'll find her in Rhodes. Or, if you happen to have your Twitch Prime account linked to your Rockstar Social Club, for all of you that have a Twitch Prime account, be sure and do that. You can actually get your bounty hunter license for free for a limited time only. Well, especially for those of you just starting off Red Dead Online on PC. Now, once you get your bounty hunter license, you want to save up. Make sure you get $350, and you'll obviously spend tokens to unlock it. And then you're going to go and purchase your reinforced lasso. Now, I will show you where to get the reinforced lasso in just a minute. But first off, let's go over the next items you may want to consider purchasing. Now, with the reinforced lasso, you start off with a regular lasso. But this one's made reinforced to keep bounties secure. Now, it won't keep a bounty secure indefinitely, but it will keep a bounty secure for at least twice as long as with the regular lasso. Now, unfortunately, you have to be mindful of the reinforced lasso because there's a small problem. When it comes to the reinforced lasso and the regular lasso, they're both still in your items wheel. I mean, your weapons wheel. So your lasso along with your reinforced lasso, they're both still in there. So you always got to make sure you have your reinforced lasso as the one you select and not the regular lasso. It obviously has a difference. One says lasso. They look a little different in the section of the weapons wheel. So always make sure you have your reinforced lasso. Now, one thing I failed to mention was the weapons locker as one of the items you should consider getting as a trader, because you can put away items you no longer wish to use, like the carbine repeater, the cattleman revolver, other weapons. I wish that they would also allow us to put away the lasso too, but alas, they do not. But as a trader, I would highly recommend you go to Wilderness Outfitters and eventually get the weapons locker once that unlocks for you as the trader. And yeah, you have to be a trader in order to get that particular item for your camp. Okay, so let's go back to the roles in progress, to the bounty hunter. So yeah, I consider the reinforced lasso to be important for bounty hunters out there. Next item I would highly recommend you get is potentially the bounty wagon. Now, where I was a little cautious about whether or not I think you should get the hunting wagon, you could survive without the hunting wagon. It's not necessary. However, if you really want to be a hardcore bounty hunter, if that's just something you're passionate about, or if it's one of the the roles that you really enjoy doing on a regular basis, the Bounty Hunter wagon will serve you well. Now, you're going to have to spend tokens to unlock it, and it's also going to cost you $850. But this bounty wagon will definitely save you a lot of trouble, especially when you're tackling legendary bounties. You can securely put that bounty in the back of this bounty wagon. You can put regular bounties in there as well, whether it's an easy bounty or a difficult bounty, or 2 bounties that you and your friends go after, or a whole posse of bounties, like 4 to 6. You can throw them all in the back of your bounty wagon, nice and snug, safe and sound, because you get paid more by bringing bounties back alive. Now, there's sometimes when it comes to legendary bounties, you have no choice but to bring them back alive, but most of the time there is the option to either bring them back dead or alive. But obviously, I would advise you to try to bring your bounties back alive, because you will get paid more for doing so. And the bounty wagon is definitely a great way to secure that bounty or bounties from where you catch them to their final destination, whether it's jail or another wagon that you happen to be meeting out in the wild frontier. So I definitely would recommend you getting a bounty wagon eventually, once you reach the established rank and you unlock the established kit. The lasso, the boas, I'm kind of on the fence about the boas. I think that you should consider getting the reinforced lasso, obviously, in the bounty hunter wagon. But at the end of the day, you probably don't really need the bolas unless you just want to have them. They're really cool. Now, the problem is the bolas cost $30 each, and you can only hold, I think, like 3 bolas at a time, and you can lose them if you don't collect them. You also have to purchase them you have to unlock them with the tokens, then you can go purchase them from a local fence. So those are the items you should consider getting as the bounty hunter. Now, the different abilities are very important. Focus will have targets, Grollo, Red, and Eagle Eye. So if you're trying to figure out which target's which, like, okay, which one's the target, okay, and you are at rank 3, then you'll be able to, with Eagle Eye, make that specific target or targets glow red. That way you automatically know, okay, that's the target, or those 2 are the targets that we have to catch. Those are the bounties that we're after. Satchel upgrade, a tonic satchel upgrade is great because tonics are definitely good, especially for tackling more difficult missions as well as legendary bounties in order to keep your health up. So you definitely want to get this upgrade, which is automatic once you reach rank 5 bounty hunter. Eagle Eye Plus, this is probably one of my favorite Eagle Eye upgrades, and this is beneficial to not only a bounty hunter but to a collector as well. And this allows you to remain in Eagle Eye even though you're sprinting around, running around on the ground, or galloping on your horse. And yes, Eagle Eye Plus is definitely an ability that you want to unlock. And once you reach rank 6 as a bounty hunter, it's going to benefit you both as a bounty hunter and as a collector. Now, the next kit upgrade is this one for the satchel, so you can store more items in your kit pouch, so that's always good. The next item is ducking. Now, ducking, I don't really know if this would be an important one. You know what? It's best if I show you, okay? It's best if I show you how ducking works, or doesn't work. Okay, so Day of Reckoning. This is a bounty hunter daily free roam event. And if you're a bounty hunter, you definitely want to consider doing Day of Reckoning whenever it pops up. So you see that pop up, that's Day of Reckoning. That's geared towards bounty hunters. And like I mentioned, Condor Egg, as well as Salvage. Free roam event geared towards the collector. And then Trade Route is geared towards the traders. You earn money, gold, as well as roll XP to help you rank up. So glad that just happened to pop up. So now, when it comes to ducking, that's all it really does. You hold down left trigger, well, it's left trigger or L1 or L2, and then you hit either the square on the PS4 or the X on the Xbox One controller, and you duck. It's temporary. It's kind of a temporary duck. You don't stay down for too long. I don't know how helpful this is. I guess it's kind of a neat trick, and then you can decide which side you want to be on. I think you can gear towards, depending on what side whether you have your joystick, aiming left, goes down like that, or going right, you go down right. Well, it's kind of it takes a quick minute to properly learn how to use ducking once you acquire it. I don't really consider it to be too important of an ability, but at the same time, it's kind of fun to do every now and then. Alright, so one final thing I want to show you real quick when it comes to the Bounty Hunter role abilities I would like to go over is the final ability that you will get is Perception. Receive notifications of bounties from greater distance. So that's definitely a good one to have as well, and you will also unlock this ability automatically whenever you reach rank 20. And the rank 20 horse is the Breton. It's a pretty good, I would say it's kind of a war horse. It's a pretty tough horse, and you'll unlock the top tier version of the Breton at rank 20 between the Mealy Dapple Bay as well as the Steel Grey Colts. And once again, I highly recommend if you decide on one of these three breed types, whether it's the Breton, the Trader Horse, or the Collector Horse, to only get the rank 20 variants, the top tier ones, because you're going to get the best bang for your buck. And once again, I would highly recommend you check out Daniel Cass, who does great horse reviews. She's done all the horses currently in Red Dead Online, including the role horses for the Bounty Hunter, Trader, as well as Collector. Another thing you want to be mindful of if you want to earn gold is the awards section. Now, there's also awards added for bounty hunters, traders, and collectors. Now, these are the three I've earned so far for, the four, I can't count. The four I've earned so far for bounty hunters, along with some that I've earned for, well, I've only earned one for the collector. But as you can tell, some of these awards can reset. Similar to the standard awards that reset up to 10 times. Every time you reset one of those awards, you will get 40 nuggets of gold. So whether it's for like hunting, well, that's not hunting. I'm back. I went too far. Hunting, for example, some of these you can see have an X by it like this does. So I've reset this 10 times. Every single time I've reset it after getting 1,000 animal parts, I know I do a lot of hunting, obviously, I would get an additional 40 nuggets, which doesn't seem like much, but after a while, it does add up, and it's yet another way for you to earn gold in the game, along with doing daily challenges, daily challenge roles, the Land of Opportunity missions, Stranger missions. By the way, Stranger missions, real quick. I know I talked about this in the guide video. These are Stranger missions. They will earn you money, XP, and yes, gold too by completing them. So, yeah, just be on the lookout for Stranger missions with that particular icon scattered throughout the map, and of course the bounty board you can also find as well with that icon. So I think that is pretty much it. The three first roles added to Red Dead Online, courtesy of the Frontier Pursuits update. A lot of you may be familiar with these roles already. Some of you may not be because you're new to Red Dead Online, and I welcome you to Red Dead Online, whether you're coming in on PC, PS4, or Xbox One. And to review, once again, the roles Collector, for basically roaming around collecting all those items that I mentioned. The Trader, as well as the Bounty Hunter. In order to get started on each of those roles, it's 15 gold bars each. You can focus on one at a time. You can do all three at the same time if you want, or you can rotate. And yes, like I mentioned, you can do up to all three if you want. As long as you got the gold, then you can do all three. So my personal advice, the easiest one, the quickest one to make money in the game and to rank up would be the Collector, especially with that map. Once again, link below in the description section. It's relatively easy. You just roam around the map. You go from location to location, depending on which day it is, collecting goods. You go to Madame Nazar, and you sell whatever extra stuff you happen to have, while at the same time stacking up the rest of your items to create collectibles. And then once you sell the collectibles, then you can start the process over and over and over again. That's the beauty part. It never ends when it comes to collectibles. You can just keep doing it again and again and again. And real quick, I'll show you my satchel, all the collections I happen to have. So I got a few of, I got like 2 tarot cards. Let's see, I got some eggs. I got all this stuff. And it's always good to hold on to antique bottles. I usually hold on to at least 5 antique bottles to sell anything more, because sometimes a daily roll challenge will pop up that requires you to drink one of these. And if you're in a situation where you need to boost your cores real quick, then this will definitely help you out. I would recommend not doing it, except for getting a daily roll challenge, which is some gold and some XP, and collector roll XP if you're still trying to rank up to collector. But yeah, collector's my personal favorite. As trader goes, as long as the camp issue remains, yeah, I would just keep taking everything you catch from hunting. Just sell it to the butchers scattered throughout the map. Eventually, Rockstar will hopefully fix the trader roll. I mean, unless you really want to try the trader roll, go for it. There's ways to get the camp working, whether it's respawning or jumping in lobbies or closing app, restarting the game. As you can tell, trying to get the camp to spawn is kind of a pain. Yes, it is. Which is why a lot of people have kind of stopped doing the trader roll for the time being until Rockstar fixes that particular issue. And probably, I guess, what many would consider the most fun, yet at the same time kind of repetitive, is the bounty hunter roll. But at the same time, it can also be fun, especially if you're doing it with a posse of other aspiring bounty hunters, especially when it comes to tackling the legendary bounties. And once again, all this stuff will earn you money. It'll earn you roll XP, which will help you rank up the bounty hunters, the collector, as well as the trader. Your thoughts, your views, and opinions regarding these three roles, or if you have any questions about one of these three roles, or if you'd like to add any input that I may have missed, feel free and let me know below in the comments section.